Welcome to the No Dress Code Pod, where we keep it real, celebrate Black excellence, and dive into the things that matter most. Tune in, vibe out, and let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of the No Dress Code Pod. I'm your favorite host, as well as your favorite hoochie. Legs out, not open, Bree. And if this is your first time listening, then thank you so much. Happy to have you here. If you are a returning guest, if you are a returning listener, then you already know what I'm going to say because you already know what I feel about you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because without you, where would I be? So before we get this week's episode started, you guys already know what I'm going to say. I hope... So before we get this week's episode started, you already know what I'm gonna say. I need to do a mental health check-in. I need to see how y'all week has been going. Drop it in the comments. Let me know how your week has been so far. I hope you're having an amazing week. Now, if you're not, there's nothing I could do for you in this moment but continue to speak it over you and pray that your week going forward is amazing. But drop it in the comments anyway and let me know how your week is going, because even if I can't help you, maybe somebody else can help you have an amazing week. And that's what's important. So before we get into today's episode, let me tell you guys. Okay, so before we get into today's episode, let me tell you guys how my week has been. It's been going pretty well. I started a new venture. I'll let you guys know about that later as it continues, as it goes. We'll see. So yeah, I started a new venture. I'm going to a fight this weekend with the girls. So excited for that. If you guys did not watch the episode, and I really feel like y'all should have, then hopefully you caught it on my Instagram. But if you don't follow my Instagram, I really feel like you should be. It's at No Dress Code Pod. I will leave it on the screen so that you can go ahead and follow it. But our previous guest, Sunny Bleep, he came out of retirement. He's coming out of retirement, y'all, for a fight this weekend. So, by the time this episode would have aired, it will have passed. So, good luck to you. Hope that you win. I will be in attendance, rooting and cheering you on. That's for sure. So, y'all know how I be like, I don't really allow y'all in my business like that. You know, I'll bring you in my business a little bit, but to have you in my business too much is crazy. I can't have y'all all in my business like that, right? Well, today is going to be a different type of episode. I mean, I think every episode is a little different than the last, right? So, as you can see from the title of this episode is going to be about the business of being personal, right? And trust me, I'm gonna try to bring on my personal business just a little bit. Not too much on me though, just a little bit. So before I started this podcast, I used to think that I don't even want to say I don't want to say like being a celebrity or being an influencer, however you want to label the people of today. But like before I started this podcast, especially like growing up from like childhood, I used to think is what I should say. as a celebrity, as a person of influence, you know, I don't want to say someone with social status because there's plenty of people out there who have social statuses that we don't know nothing about, right? There's a whole world of society that we know nothing about. But anyways, so I used to think that like you basically gave up your right to privacy when you became a celebrity. When you became what is now 2025's influencer. Like once you share or once you reach a point, right, where your life is just on display. And it could just be like certain areas of your life are on display. Like, for instance, Beyonce, she has her entertainment on display. Family is here and there, but really it's entertainment on display. Um, Kim Kardashian or the Kardashians, they have their life on display. Right? Will and Jada, when you get to a certain point of status, I guess, where you can somewhat be known as a household name, so to speak, that you kind of give up all rights to privacy. And as I get older and as I take steps into becoming someone of influence, because we're gonna speak it into existence, okay, as becoming someone, as someone who's becoming whatever the fuck it is, y'all know what I'm trying to say. Basically, as someone who's on their way to becoming, a big bank moneymaker over here, uh, a household name over here. Y'all not entitled to every piece of life. Like as someone who's on their way, I am also someone who believes in sharing a piece of myself and not my whole self. Like I share with y'all a little bit, I bring y'all into my life a little bit. I ain't never had a man, I'm a virgin, but I ain't never had a man, I'm a virgin, but I bring y'all into my life a little bit. But honestly, what I'm saying, or the point I'm trying to make is what I choose to share, I choose to share out of intention. Um, to protect the innocent, to protect the guilty, to protect anybody in the story who may be affected, because sometimes the innocent is me. And sometimes the guilty is me. I'm not perfect, okay, in any way, shape, or form. I'm sometimes the villain in your story. But I choose to share what I choose to share, and and how much of that I choose to share. But it's not like I choose to share what I choose to share when I choose to share it. Right? And it's not like it's me choosing to share or what I'm choosing to share out of the feeling of needing to hide something. As much as it may feel like it at times, and baby, if I told you guys some of the things that went on in my life, you would be like, this girl is living a scripted. This girl's making this up. This has to be a scripted TV show. And you know what? I would 100% agree with you because that's exactly what the fuck it feels like at times. I'll be watching TV like, first off, I did that already. I went through that already. And baby, that's not how I did it. That's not how it's that. I already regret that I did it, but and you're making me watch it back because life imitates art and art imitates life. Um, you're making me watch it back, but you're not handling it properly. Yeah, as much as my life feels like it sometimes, baby, it is not no scripted show. And so that's why I gotta share what I can share because this is my life. Really. Like I still gotta protect me, you know? I just realized that, oh, that could be the perfect word for it. Instead of saying celebrity, because I know some of y'all gonna be like, girl, you are not a celebrity. Or instead of saying influencer, because y'all haters are gonna be like, you're not an influencer. And we could put the yet there, okay? Because it's coming. We could put the yet there. But we can say public figure, right? I think that sounds better. So as a public figure, although I am choosing to share parts of my life, with the public, nobody, not even the team, okay, not even y'all as the team, the guests, the listeners are entitled to my every whereabout, to every little detail of stuff I got going on. Just because I have a mic, it doesn't mean I owe every detail. So let's talk about where being real meets being responsible. Where authenticity meets boundaries, so to speak. There is a pressure to be constantly open, right? Especially for me because I preach vulnerability on this podcast, I preach openness. And I don't even want to say openness and honesty. Like, you can't fucking sit here and lie to me. Because you can. Because maybe that's not my business. And that's just your way of telling me that's not my business by lying to me. And I can't be mad at that. Because that's not my business. Um, But I do believe in, vulnerability and, being open and sharing parts of you that are not always comfortable or that you may not always want to share. But sharing them only when, it's comfortable to share. Like, sharing this is a part of my healing versus I'm just sharing this because, it was the easier conversation to have type of thing. So, I want us to be a non-judgmental group of people around here. And for the most part, I feel like we are so far. We non-judgmental, right? I did see this quote. I believe it was on Instagram. I seen this quote that said basically, your engagement is all good and gravy till you reach a certain point. And then that's when the negative naysayers come in and the people talking shit come in and the people just like trolls come in. That's when, after you've reached a certain point. And not even like a certain point of followers, certain point, just like a certain point of engagement period. Potentially just on that one video. If you reach a certain point, the engagement goes from positive to negative. And that's hard. That's hard. As someone who's working on their vulnerability and working on being open and, you know, don't hurt my feelings, baby, because I might tussle with you in the comments. I might. I really want to say I want to give Beyonce energy and just not even entertain it. But I'm not Beyonce. I'm not Beyonce. I'm not Michelle Obama. I don't know. But my team tells me to not entertain it. They tell me to not entertain it. But, you know, sometimes that doesn't work. One of the things about, you know, that I'll say with being open is people sometimes do feel entitled to every piece of your life because you chose to be open in one area. Like the podcast, right? I'm open about a lot of me as an individual, a lot of me. But I'm also still very much private and closed off about a lot of me as well. Like, I'm open about dating. Okay. On the flip side of that same coin, I've never had a relationship and I'm a virgin. Okay. I'm also okay. I'm also very open on the okay, but also on the flip side of that coin, of that same coin, I'm also very private about who it is I may be dealing with. Um, you may know I'm dealing with someone, you just don't need to know who the someone is, type of thing. Um, because I like to take my L's in private. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to y'all. I like to take my L's in private. Now, granted, do I know that there are some L's that I'm just not gonna have a choice on. I'm gonna have to take in public. Yes, there are, but if I don't have to, I'm not. And introducing or presenting a man to the public, baby, that's an L I don't have to take in public. And I just won't. So, as far as I go, that part of me is for the most part private. Who I deal with is private. The fact that I'm dealing with someone is usually public. Not because I got anything to prove to nobody, but just because, you know, respectful. But nah, for real, I just, you know, who I deal with is going to be private. Because even though, because even though I, you know, decided to start this podcast and open it up and put y'all a little bit in my business, okay, everything that I do ain't y'all business. You know, just like everything y'all do ain't my business. When I ask y'all for y'all little weekly updates and I provide my little weekly update, do Do I clock you and be like, that's not all that happened? Tell me the rest of your business? Or do I allow you to tell me what went on in your week that you chose to share from your week? It's just that some things ain't y'all business. And that brings me to something that I've had to learn the hard way. That personal is not necessarily public property. That personal is not public property. There is a difference between being relatable and being consumed. It's like the difference between a man really liking you and wanting to be with you and a man gaslighting, love bombing you. I want to be related to. I don't want to be consumed. I do want to be consumed, but not in this way. I don't want to be I want to be swallowed up. Okay, I do. I do. Oh my goodness, I do. Like, have you ever been? Yeah, I want to be swallowed up. I want a man to love me down. But I only want this from one person. I don't need everybody trying to swallow me up. Mm-mm. For the general purpose, the general people, for the team, the general public, I just want to be related to. Every time I decide to hit record, every time I decide to hit upload, every time I decide to turn this mic on and turn these cameras on and get the lighting and everything going, I am making a choice. I am making a choice to share a piece of my life. Because essentially, that's what this podcast is. Do we cover topics from time to time that relate to other things? Of course. But do they always somehow come back and relate to me? Yeah, they do. It's a, it's a choice. It's a choice I make that I feel like relates with the listeners, with the guests, with the team. And it's a choice that I think it's a choice that we've have all but how do I put this? All I think it's a choice we have all but damn near like solidified from episode 1. Maybe not episode 1 but like episode 1.2. And that's just that some parts of my life are not up for public consumption. So, how do I keep myself? So, how do I keep showing? So, how do I keep sharing without losing myself? For me personally, that's where clarity, courage, and care come in. Right? The clarity to choose to tell my truth in a way that feels good to me, in a way that respects the people that are listening, the team, the listeners, and in a way that keeps what's mine. Also, the courage to navigate the weight of telling my stories with intention and the care necessary to remember to hold space for what's sacred within me. And even with all the courage and all the care And even with all the clarity, there's still this like dance, so to speak, I find myself doing. Um that is uh, where I try to balance between being real and opening up and then being enough, right? Because sometimes my emotions, I'm a Libra. Sometimes my emotions are through the roof. Sometimes my emotions are sky high. This journey of recording, for sure, more than anything else I've ever done, has taught me the importance of taking a breath, stopping, pausing, taking a breath before I hit record. Because I've recorded things that in the moment I felt them, believed them, supported them, uploaded them. And then after I've calmed down, or after the situation has died down, or after whatever the case may be for me has changed, I feel differently. And it's like, it's out there already, Bookie. You said it. You posted it. You uploaded it. Like, yes, you can retract your statement, but it's already out there. So this journey has definitely taught me how to stop, take a break, breathe, don't go on the mic hot. It has taught me that there is a difference in oversharing versus the power. It has taught me the importance in the difference of oversharing versus the power of pausing. I don't know about y'all, I try not to, for me at least, when I record and I upload, I'm putting them out there. I try not to mistake my vulnerability for validation. I've had to figure out knowing when I'm sharing to be seen and when I'm sharing to serve. Because, like I said in the previous episode, not every episode I put out is for you as the listener, you as the team, you as the guest. Some of the episodes I put out will genuinely be just for me. But am I doing that out of just the need, the desire, the want to be vulnerable, or am I doing it to seek validation? Because my point, or my feeling is to never seek validation. Right? It's to just be vulnerable, be me, be who I am. Understand that I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes in my past. I will make mistakes in my future. I'm making mistakes in my present. But I'm trying to consistently and constantly learn from those mistakes and become a better person than what I was. And with that being said, I do my best to share out of vulnerability. So there's this unspoken thing, right, between me and the people listening, me and the people watching, me and the people tuned in, for sure. There's a silent contract between me and the audience. The contract states that I let you guys in. I bring y'all into my world a little bit. I bring y'all into my way of thinking, my way of seeing, my view on life. I bring y'all into a little bit of how I really been living. And maybe when I tell you it's a fucking movie, it's a fucking movie. It has at times been like a bad car crash that you can't take your eyes off of. Um, I'm working on being transparent without feeling naked. Right. Like I said, I'm on a healing journey. Like I said, I deal with depression and anxiety at times. Which is probably something I never thought that I would go on mic and say. I never thought that I would go on the internet and say nothing like that because the internet is crazy. The internet will eat you the fuck alive. Like TikTok, I heard it's on its way out again. But TikTok was the most like accepting group of people I've ever encountered on social media. How I don't see them people on Instagram, I don't know. It's crazy. But TikTok community is completely different than Instagram community. There's no tea, no shade to the Instagram community because I do love you guys as well. Um, but TikTok community, I think, engages a little bit more easily. I mean, I'm just saying, if y'all want to do a little competition, y'all can compete and y'all can prove me wrong, but TikTok be doing its thing over there from time to time. I was just saying. TikTok for me is more personal and Instagram be a little bit more business. So if you want to be a little bit more in the personal, you come follow me on TikTok. It's at No Dress Code Pod. Um Everything is No Dress Code Pod. But yeah, TikTok is a little bit more personal for me. And Instagram is a little bit more business. And I know like that's a little different, that's a little weird because essentially my business is being personal. It is. I am the brand. I am, so it is personal, but so being personal is my business and it is a business. And like any business, it needs boundaries. So, you know, um, this business needs boundaries. And that's why I low key want to just be like Beyonce and not respond to any negative comments because, yeah, Beyonce said, baby, I'm going to let you talk to yourself in the comments. I'm going to let you talk to yourself. When you go and make these little TikTok videos, I'm going to let you talk to yourself. I'm going to let you talk to yourself on these Instagram videos. And I'm not a Beyonce. I'm not, I'm far from it, but I don't know. Y'all might have to catch me. I don't know. She has amazing boundaries set up, I think. And I think her boundaries have changed as she's grown and developed in the industry for sure. Because I feel like although she's never really been the type to really respond back to certain stuff, I think she would sub it at one point. And now she's kind of just gotten to the point where it's just like, I'm not subbing you. I'm not even giving you the satisfaction of a response. It's just, some things aren't everybody's business. And what's crazy is when I developed or when I first came up with the idea of my podcast. Like, I didn't have that same viewpoint. Like, I was gonna have my business be y'all business, and it just was not gonna work out right. It was not gonna handle right. Um, there needs to be boundaries, and we're building them slowly but surely. We're figuring it out. Nothing's perfect around here because honestly, there were times where I had to check myself, and I still do. When it feels like I'm at a point where I feel like I owe you guys too much. Um, like me and the team, we go back and forth about what to present and what not to present. Obviously, I'm on the not to present list, and they're on the present list. I will say we're at a point right now where we are meeting halfway. They want me to present a little bit faster than I'm willing to present. And baby, I just need it to grow slowly and organically. So when it presents, we have the right team around us. We have the right group of supporters around us, the right listeners, and everything else. But yeah, I still have to sometimes stop myself and say, am I giving too much? Am I doing too much? Am I presenting with too much? And I know for the most part, I cut out a lot of shit that could be kept in, that could go viral, that could be the clip, the thing. Um, and I'm working on it. Me and the team, we're working on it. But because at the end of the day, like, this is my life. And like I said, as much as it feels like at times it's a scripted show, this is the furthest thing from it. At times, baby, if I was to really break down some of my stories, and one day in one episode I am, I'm gonna start trying to incorporate my little TV series life stories and because shit get crazy around here. Okay, and I like the rest of y'all. I likes me a little key. I like me a little key, right? But this my life. Okay, and I can't be having a key and be key and too fucking hard about this around here. Okay, so I also know when to log off. I know when to log off, but I don't need nobody kikiing too kiki and fucking hard around here about me. What's mine is mine. Okay. Even when I speak into this mic, what's mine is mine. And as this platform grows, as we become, a bigger group, we become a bigger family, we become a bigger team. Um, as we do meet and greets and do live recordings and stuff like that, I always feel like I always come back and check in with the part of me because there are still parts of me who didn't ask for this level of publicity. um there's still parts of me that are scared, not of the mic, but losing autonomy, losing the ability to hold something just for me. So bear with me. Like I said, if this journey is slow, it's gonna be slow but steady. Okay. Like a slow drip on a rock. It's gonna eventually cause a hole. I don't really know how that full phrase goes, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. Slow and steady drip on a rock will eventually cause a hole. Look it up. Ask your grandmamas if you need some. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask your grandmama. I promise they gonna know. Being personal is a business. Again, it is. It takes clarity, courage, and care. Clarity to see, you know, what you need to do. The clarity to it takes courage to do what you need to do. And the care to be able to, get yourself back. And the clarity to see that you're doing too much, or you're sharing too much, or you're providing too much, or you're not getting enough of something. It's not just about what I give. It's about how I protect what I don't, or what I don't choose to share. So before I let you guys go, you already know. So before I let you guys know, I do have a Reddit for you today. I tried to find one that was more so on topic. It's kind of hard to find one that matches per se, but we'll give it a go. This one says, "Am I the asshole for hiding my personal life at work? I'm in a little trouble at work because I've been sort of hiding my personal life. I've worked in this office for about 9 years, working my way up. I'm notoriously private and also believe in a clear separation of work and home life. With that, I never ever talk about home life. I'm not ashamed of my life, I just don't like to discuss it at work. My coworkers enjoy talking about their personal lives and often include me. If I'm asked any questions about if I'm asked any questions, I usually redirect or move on to someone else. In this manner, none of my coworkers knew I'm married, have twin daughters, and a very active personal life. We hired Melinda last year, and she took it upon herself to become the office snoop. She spent several weeks getting as close to everyone as possible. However, she does this to seek out potential useful information she can hold over people's heads. Try as she did, I never gave her anything. My coworkers view me as a sort of enigma. Compartmentalization, compartmental, compartmentalization aside, I've made some great friendships at work. There are more things to talk about than my husband and kids. They are a big part of my life, but I'm not even going to martyr myself and say that they're the most important part. They're hugely important, income before everything else, but I'm not a psychopath and I enjoy the 10 hours a day I'm at work and I get to be an adult and talk about things other than JoJo Siwa and the newest Jindashian exploit. Last week, Friday, Melinda came into work looking like the cat who got the goldfish. At lunch, she announced to everyone that I am married with two daughters, a dog, and a nice house. I play softball, I kayak, and occasionally mountain climb, and that I'm on Facebook. She couldn't see my post, however, some of my photos are shared with others and therefore not private. I use a shortened version of my name, Allie, for Alexandra, and my married name on Facebook, so I'm not sure how she found me, unless she used white pages and put two and two together. I've already reported her to HR. But the problem is, my coworkers are acting like this is a big fucking deal. One of my friends said she's hurt that I don't trust any of them and hold them in such low regard. I tried to explain that it's nothing against anyone. I just don't like discussing home at work and vice versa. I never I never bring work home. When I'm home, that's time with my kids or my dog or my husband or my friends and hobbies. Heck, I choose to live an hour outside of the city in a small town just to avoid work when I'm not there. I've apologized if any feelings were hurt, but my coworkers are now giving me the chill and won't talk to me unless it's directly about work. I honestly don't see the problem. I've never lied to them. I've never given them false info. I've never made up wild tales about my life. I'm still the same person I was, and now they just know more about me than they did. Edit. I don't have any sort of interesting update. HR brought us both in yesterday and asked us what the fuck is going on. I presented my side as detailed above. Melinda gave hers. She basically said that she has been trying to get to know everyone and has been having trouble getting to know me. So she found my Facebook in effort to find something to talk about with me, and then she just informed everyone else. I asked my HR rep to pull up my Facebook and do a cursory search for my real name. There were several. Then I asked him to search my married name. Then I asked him to search my married name, or the one I go by on Facebook, Allie Smith. There were enough for about 6 or 7 scrolls on the mouse pad. In any case, too many to count. I haven't touched my own page since I reported the incident. It was about 30 names from the top, but like I said, my profile pic is my dog, not me. So she would have had to look at each thumbnail photo or view each account. I do have an Instagram page that's on private, but I only have a few friends, mostly family members under that same name. She found me right before She found me the night before last and befriended me. Naturally, I blocked her. HR gave her a reprimand for creating a negative work atmosphere. My rep wasn't sure why Melinda felt the need to blast my info for everyone, and he called BS on her for claiming it was innocent. So that's that. That's probably all that's gonna come from it because my coworkers are now acting mostly back to normal. However, I took the advice from this sub and I'm making amends. They're all most receptive. I'm gonna learn how to open up, but not by much. But they know enough about me to get to know I'm not an automation or anything. Are you the asshole? Girl, no. We just had this conversation. Boundaries are important, especially your personal life. Okay? Personal and business, there needs to be a separation. Boundaries are important. Not everything going on in your personal life is them folks' business down at that job. That is business. It's personal. I feel you. You don't need to bring your business life into your personal life. Like the mobsters, that's what I love about like old school mobsters is they used to keep their business life and their personal life separate. They wasn't bringing Johnny Two Tone, Johnny Two Nose, Johnny Two Fingers down to the house with the hose. They was taking the hose to the pool house. Johnny Two Fingers and meet him and the hose at the pool house. Baby, that's what I'm talking about. Business and personal, keep them separate. Not everything you do in your life needs to be known to the people you do business with. And not everything that goes on in that business needs to be known to the people you have a personal life with. separation of church and state. That's all I'm hearing. It sounds like separation of church and state. Well, you guys let me know who you think is an asshole in the comments. Is it Melinda or is it the girl who did not leave her name? And that's all I have for you guys today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let me know in the comments who you think is the asshole. It's Melinda. It's Melinda. I can go ahead and just answer that for you. But if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope before I let you guys go, you already know what to say. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that bell notification so that you're notified anytime we post a new post. Don't forget to follow me on TikTok, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Everything is at No Dress Code Pod. I will see you guys in next week's episode. And don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to pull up. Because they're going to love it here. Just like you do. See you guys next week's episode. Bye. You're still here? You know the show's over, right? Don't cry. We'll be back next week. I gotta go be a hoochie. In the meantime, catch up on the older episodes.